I never imagined I'd see the day my own wife would betray me, not after 10 years of marriage, not after everything we'd built together. But the texts on her phone didn't lie, and the photos she thought I'd never find left no room for denial. I remember staring at the screen, my hands shaking, my heart pounding with a mix of rage and disbelief. Her name flashed at the top, "I can't wait to see you tonight, Redheart," and beneath it, messages that revealed the depth of her betrayal, plans made in secret, lies told to cover her tracks. I could feel my chest tighten, a cold fire igniting inside me. I didn't speak, I just stared, letting the reality settle like ice water in my veins. When she walked in that evening, acting casual as if nothing had happened, I didn't even bother to greet her. Her smile faltered when she saw my face, and for the first time in years, I saw fear in her eyes. "We need to talk," I said, my voice low, controlled. She laughed nervously, brushing it off, but I could see her mind racing. I didn't waste time with questions. I didn't argue. I simply opened the door and told her she had to leave. "Pack a bag. You're not coming back tonight," I said, the words tasting like finality. Her protests came fast and frantic, her voice high-pitched with panic. "What? You can't do this." I didn't mean. I cut her off with a glare so sharp it silenced her mid-sentence. I wasn't going to argue. I had rehearsed this moment in my mind for hours, imagining her guilt-stricken face, imagining her helpless as she realized her world had tilted on its axis. I didn't raise my hand, I didn't shout. I just pointed toward the bedroom and let her actions speak. She hurriedly packed her bag, her hands shaking, muttering under her breath, her eyes avoiding mine. I followed her to the door, watching her walk away, and for a moment, I felt the emptiness of our home press down on me. But then came the knock. I froze. It was sharp, impatient, almost demanding. My mind raced. Who could it be at this hour? I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened the door cautiously, my instincts on high alert, and there he was. The man she'd been seeing. I didn't recognize him at first, he looked smaller in person, his confidence faltering under my stare. His eyes widened when he saw me, a mixture of surprise and fear dancing across his face. He started, but I held up a hand. No words were necessary. The truth was hanging between us like a charged wire. I could see the guilt in his posture, the way he tried to step forward and then hesitated, unsure of his welcome. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice calm but icy. He opened his mouth, but again, no words came. I took a slow step forward, my shadow swallowing his hesitation. "She's gone. You should leave. Now." He swallowed hard, his Adam's apple moving like a fist down his throat. I wanted to talk to you." "I didn't mean." I interrupted him, the anger finally breaking through the calm exterior. "You didn't mean? Did it ever occur to you that she's married? That she had a family? That I trusted her with my heart?" My voice rose, sharp, slicing through the tension like glass breaking. He flinched, and I realized he wasn't just scared of me, he was scared of what he had done. "You can't just kick her out," and he tried again. I shook my head. "No. I can. And I just did. And you're next." His face went pale. He realized, maybe for the first time, that he wasn't just the other man in a secret affair, he was the intruder in a life he had no right to touch. I stepped closer, my eyes locking onto his, burning with the betrayal that had cost me sleepless nights, quiet desperation, and the illusion of a happy marriage. "Leave my house," I said, slower this time, letting each word hit like a hammer. "If you ever show your face here again, I swear," my voice dropped to a whisper, deadly and deliberate, "you'll regret it." He nodded quickly, backing away, fumbling with his words. I understand. I'm sorry, but the apology felt hollow, even to me. I didn't want apologies. I wanted respect for the boundaries he had crossed, for the devastation he had contributed to, for the life he had dared to invade. I closed the door and leaned against it, letting out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. The house was quiet again, but the silence wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, charged, a reminder of the war that had just passed and the pieces left behind. I thought of her face, the mixture of shock, panic, and the tiny spark of fear she had shown when she realized she couldn't control the outcome anymore. I thought of him, stumbling out of my life, finally understanding that he wasn't a player in some romantic drama, he was a trespasser, an intruder in a life he had no right to touch. I sank into the living room couch, staring at the walls, letting the anger and the betrayal settle like a storm after the rain. I knew the confrontation wasn't over. There would be calls, explanations, perhaps even attempts at manipulation or guilt. But for tonight, I had regained control. Tonight, I had drawn the line. I had reminded them both that actions have consequences and that no one can undermine a life built with trust without facing the storm that follows. Somewhere deep inside me, a small, wounded part whispered that the pain would linger, that the heartbreak would take time to heal. But another part, stronger and fiercer than I had felt in years, knew that I had taken the first step. I had removed the poison from my home. I had reclaimed the space where I belonged. And I would not be afraid of what came next, whether it was the aftermath of lies, the whispers of gossip, or the loneliness that follows betrayal. I would endure. I would rebuild. I would live. And as I sat there, alone, letting the quiet settle, I realized something important. Sometimes the hardest part isn't kicking the betrayer out, it's facing the truth that the world you thought you knew was only a facade. And sometimes, the hardest part is knowing that you walked through the fire without breaking, that you confronted the lies, and that you survived the storm with your dignity intact. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but tonight, I had one. Not against her, not against him, but against the betrayal itself. And that, I realized, was more than enough.